Right, we're live. Let's get the speed up on this bugger. Sort the camera out. Hopefully the mic is on. The battery's quite low on this actually, so I'm not going to have to take too long with this. I want to get, I don't know, a good kilometre done or so. And what we're going to cover is how to get a flat stomach by May, or by the time the weather warms up, or by the time you are on the plane. Might seem a bit strange to be talking about summer holidays when we've literally just come into the new year. We've just had Christmas and yesterday it was snowing. But for a lot of you, the reason why I start talking about it now is because you need the time. Quite frankly, if you only have 5, 10, 15 pounds to lose, of course, and you've got a lot of time to dedicate to the process and you know how to do it, then you might only need 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks. But for a lot of you guys, it might take losing, and I'm talking about the 1st of May here, which is, I believe, 16 weeks today. So in 16 weeks, you could drop anywhere from 16 to maybe 30 pounds, possibly more. But regardless, if you do what I discuss in this live, by the time you get to May, you'll be much better off. And of course, because I always like to be, real and talk honestly, there'll be some of you that it will take longer than May. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is get to the warmer weather, actually quite sunny today, and have made significant progress in a way that makes you feel happy and proud, that you can maintain, and of course, carry on if needs be. So we're going to go through kind of 5 things that I think are important that I do with clients that will make this process better. And if you've got any of those things missing, you can do like a traffic light kind of process here. If anything I talk about is like, I'm doing that, it's green. If it's kind of something you do from time to time, but it hasn't become a habit, then like it's amber. And then of course, if you're not doing it and you think to yourself, no, I literally never do that, or have no idea what I'm doing with regards to that, then it's a red. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to kind of know the areas that you might need to improve. So, like I said, 5 steps. And this is really about goal setting, because I think of the mistake a lot of you guys will make is you come into January, for lack of a better term, probably a little bit more kind of hyped up on emotion, like feelings of like, oh, it's the new year, it's a fresh start. It's very easy to get caught up in that. And quite quickly, I don't know about you, but quite frankly, that whole new year thing has passed for me, and I'm just like, oh, here we go again. And I come back to more logical thinking when it comes to goals. So step number 1, have a clear goal that is tangible. So instead of, I want to feel better, I want to look better, even right down to I just want to feel more confident. Those are subjective, they're feelings. The problem with that is very hard to, firstly, it's hard to know when you've actually achieved it sometimes, and you can't actually track it very well and say to yourself, I'm on track or I'm not. I'm going to achieve this goal or I'm going to fail miserably. So in this circumstance, you might say, well, Phil, what would be the clear goal by May the 1st? It's 16 weeks. You could do it as a rough weight, 16 pounds. That would be decent, like a pound a week for most men who are busy. It's still very much achievable. Take it with a pinch of salt because you might build muscle, but I'll come back to that in a second. So you might say, I want to drop 16 pounds, or anywhere from kind of 15 to 20. I don't think a range is too much of a problem. Or you might say, I want to drop 5% body down from 15%, sorry, from 20% to 15%, or 30% down to 25. Anywhere from, half, quarter to a half, maybe 0.75% a week will be realistic, and you have to make these goals realistic. So Err on the side of caution. There goes the dog. Be caught. Err on the side of caution. Get rid of the dog because she won't stop barking now that the missus is back. So set a clear goal, whether it's weight, and also that could be performance goals as well. But I think when it comes to getting in shape for the summer, most of you are worried more about body fat percentage, total weight. But of course, you could have some goals with strength as well, which will motivate you to possibly work harder in the gym to maintain muscle, so that you don't just have a flat stomach, you actually have some shape. So that's something to consider. Have it set. Number 2, have a set time frame. Well, obviously what I'm saying is, can you get a flat stomach by May the 1st? So we've got a set goal in terms of number. We've got a set time because we have 16 weeks. Some of you might want to make it a little bit shorter. I wouldn't make it any longer, because if it's too long, you can give yourself a little bit of leeway. You can start to make excuses like, well, I've got 25 weeks to do this. 1 week won't hurt. If it's too short and the goal is set in terms of the actual number, like percentage or weight, then you won't have enough time. It won't be realistic. So anywhere from kind of 12 to 16 weeks is decent. Some of you might want to set goals that are slightly shorter. It really is down to personal preference here. But what I've said is the 1st of May. So we kind of get to that spring, start of summer. But it doesn't really matter. I'm just using that as an example. So you've got already, I'm going to achieve X amount of weight loss or X amount of a reduction in body fat percentage, maybe some performance goals like certain strength or a certain distance in a certain time. That again is going to help motivate you by a certain day. And the reason why we do this is it's also quite powerful from an accountability point of view. When I did a competition, then obviously it didn't matter how you looked the week before the competition, didn't matter how you looked the night after the competition. What mattered was how you looked at that moment you stepped on stage. So everything was tailored right down to the last minutes. And obviously that is very more extreme than what you need. So do you have the set goal and the set time frame? Number 3, a good one to have for motivation, is a reward. I'm going to come back to this in a second, but a reward would be something like, if I achieve this goal, I will buy myself a new suit. And you might say, if I achieve this goal, I won't just buy a new suit, I will go somewhere and get it tailored and actually invest a lot of money on that suit, which is a nice thing to have in the back of your mind. Or it's, I will treat, me and the wife to a weekend away. Have some kind of reward. Now, you may also want a consequence. A very short story. My friend and client, John, had a friend of a friend, who needed to lose weight, and he was at the pub with someone else, and he essentially, long story short, transferred over £3,000 to his friend and said, if I don't lose, I think it was something like 3 stone in 3 months. The details aren't really relevant, but he said, if I don't achieve this weight loss goal by this date, you can keep the £3,000. That's a pretty big consequence. You could have a consequence that on the 1st of May, you are going to take a photograph of yourself and post it on LinkedIn. A bit extreme. Would it motivate you? Would it be in the back of your mind every time you want to slip up or skip a session? Probably. So you've got a reward and you could have a consequence. You could have one or the other. You could have both. Both would probably be a good idea. So you've got one thing you're scared of. Shit, if I don't do that, I'm going to have to post a picture on LinkedIn in my pants and people are going to laugh at me because I told them I was going to get a flat stomach. And that also, if I do it, I'm going to go to my favorite tailor and finally get a suit that fits me well after years of not being able to wear one. So that's a good thing to do. Number 4, a tailored game plan. This one's very important because sitting there and writing goals and saying you're going to achieve it by this day and saying you're going to reward yourself with this thing or do this thing as a consequence, very easy. You get 1,000 blokes in a room today and we could all sit there and do that exercise. What shall we achieve? When's the date? What are you going to celebrate? How are you going to celebrate? How are you going to punish yourself? Or what consequence will you have if you don't do it? Very, very easy. But then you have to actually achieve the goal. And you won't if you don't have a tailored plan for yourself. A meal plan or a nutrition plan, the workout plans, when you're going to do your cardio, all the data, the numbers. Those of you watching this, obviously, a lot of you guys are executives and professionals, so you like data and processes and systems. You like structure. You like waking up every day and knowing exactly what boxes you need to tick, what numbers to hit, and then you like to evaluate and assess it frequently to make sure you are working towards the goals that we set. You need to do that for your fitness. You should wake up every day and be like, I know, based on my height, my activity, my age, my goals, my preferences, things like how many calories I'm going to eat, how much protein do I require, what are the best foods for me. You should have strategies for how do I deal with in this time frame between now and May the 1st, how do I deal with the client meetings, how do I deal with the traveling, how do I deal with things like social events, birthdays, etc. So you should have this game plan laid out, and you should understand how to, this is crucial, you should understand how to adjust the game plan to ensure that you continually get results. Because from today, if you start that game plan today, it won't be the same game plan that you have by the time your stomach is flatter. Your body will adjust. You may get bored of foods. You will have to make changes to that plan to ensure that you don't plateau. I'm sure many of you have lost weight in the past and been thinking to yourself, things are going really well. And then suddenly hop on the scales, look in the mirror for a few months or maybe a few weeks, but it can be a few months, and not see the changes, lose motivation because you feel like you're wasting your time. It gets frustrating and you quit. So make sure you have that tailored game plan. Don't just go to the internet or choose the latest fad diet, or don't choose something that you did in 2008 that worked for 2 months and then you failed after that, because chances are the reason why you aren't still in shape now is because it didn't work for you, or something was wrong with that strategy. Too strict, or you're always hungry, didn't fit your schedule. If you would like help with the game plan part, well, all of this really, then obviously you can comment game plan below, or you can send me a message to remain private. So that's number 4. Number 5, one where arguably the most important. You could get so far without set goals, time frames. You could make some progress. Men do. Men also make pretty good progress without a custom game plan. See it all the time. Whether or not they get to their actual end goal remains to be seen. Probably isn't likely. But the one thing that my clients often say is the one thing that kind of helped them the most was the accountability. Because if I give you a game plan to follow from today, and let's imagine you've got a goal, you're going to aim to do it until the 1st of May, you've got your reward, you've got your consequences, you've got your game plan. Let's even imagine you understand nutrition and training enough to make changes week to week or kind of month to month, depending on when they need to be changed. Let's imagine everything is there but you don't have the accountability. I can almost guarantee that at some point from today to May the 1st, because that's 16 weeks, is quite long, you will slip up. You will have struggles. You will have mornings when it's cold and you don't want to do your walk, or you don't want to go and do a session in the evening. One of my clients, we had a Monday coaching call, and one of the things he was really happy about was on Sunday, when he didn't really fancy doing his cardio session, he still did it at 10 p.m. And he was happy that it was something he wasn't going to do, but he did it. And that is how you get results. And one of the reasons why he did it is because we have a call on a Monday, and on a Sunday he sends his photographs and his weight, and I see everything. And he just messaged me about an hour ago, and when he goes on the weighing scales, it logs it and it sends it to my app. It's all synced. When he eats his food, it's all synced. So I see it all. That's a lot of accountability. That keeps things, well, that makes it easier to stay on track when you lose the desire, you lose the motivation, or you're struggling. Along with accountability, also support. It's not always about having a kick up the butt. Sometimes it's just about having someone there to message. Sometimes it's just about being part of a community where, sad as it sounds, sometimes it's nice to be around other people that are going through the same as you. Like, I'm hungry on my own, it sucks. If I'm in a group of 10 men that are hungry, it's not so bad. If I'm the only one training, it can suck. But if everyone I know in this community is training and I know they're doing it, it doesn't feel so bad. It's kind of doing things on your own are quite challenging, especially fitness. So the accountability will keep you on track. And that means by the time you do your final weigh-in or photos on the 1st of May, you would have made fewer mistakes and slip-ups than you would have done. And let's be completely honest, a lot of men are going to start now and won't make it even to the end of February. So the fact you can even get to May would make a huge difference to not only your results, but your habits and your belief and your momentum. And if you can do it for 5 months till May, you can do it for another 5 months, and then another 5 months, and then forever. So that's a set goal, tangible goal. Not I want to feel better, or not that I want to look better. It's I want to be 12% body fat, or I want to be 83 kilos. I want to be able to do 25 push-ups. I want to be able to run 10K in X amount of minutes. It's a set goal. Clear time frame. I'm going to be able to do it by this date. If I do it by this date, I get a reward. I'm going to buy myself a nice suit, or I'm going to book a holiday for me and the missus to show off my body. If I don't do it, you can have a consequence. I'll give my friend £3,000. Maybe you could say to your wife, if I don't do this, achieve this goal, you can have, I don't know, the credit card, and you can spend whatever you want for a whole day. Something that makes you think, oh God, I don't want to be able to, I don't want to have to deal with that. Then you have the game plan. How are you going to do it? What is the structure? What's the data you're going to track? What are the metrics are you going to keep an eye on? The calories, the steps, the protein, what foods you're going to eat? What days you're going to train? Are you going to train from home? Are you going to do it from the gym? Is it going to be a combination? How are you going to do it? And then who is going to hold you accountable? Who is going to be that little voice in your ear, in your head? But when you start to think about slacking, but it makes you think twice. Who is going to check in on you to make sure you are eating the food you said you'd eat? Who is keeping an eye on you to make sure you do your steps and your training? Who is checking your progress? Who is stopping you think, well, I got to the 1st of May, 1 week won't hurt, I'll just catch up, I'll do more next week. It's an easy mentality to have. Who's checking in on you? Who is supporting you? Who's helping you? Who's answering your questions? Who's inspiring you? Who's making you feel like you're not doing it alone? If you have all those 5 things, and we sprinkle in something that really is important is a genuine desire to do it. Like you are hell bent on doing it, like you really want to do it, then you just can't fail. I just don't think any man will fail to hit a goal when all those boxes are ticked. The question is, what ones do you not have? That can be your thing to do when you've watched this live. Which haven't you got? Fix it. And of course, if it's you don't have, the ones that you might need help with will be the game plan, accountability, and support. If those are the ones you're thinking, yeah, you know what, I don't really understand how to make my training efficient because I'm busy. How do I do sessions in maybe an hour a week versus every day? How do I eat in a way that allows me to lose fat while I'm traveling, eating in restaurants? Now, how do I stay motivated the entire time because it's challenging at times? Then, like I said, send me a message or comment the word game plan. Send you a message, we'll have a chat, and we'll go from there. Hopefully that is helpful. That is that's almost a kilometer, so that'll be enough for today. I will be back on tomorrow, I'm sure. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.